We were coming to Brownsville, having lunch with my mother-in-law. I knock on the door, and within the first 15 minutes, I knew that I would never leave. She had Alzheimer's, and I had to get the diagnosis and then serve as her caregiver until my wife could join us. And that was one of the hardest lessons I ever learned. I had to seek out information from people who understood Alzheimer's and understand how to be a caregiver to a person that had a disease that I had never experienced before. My wife came after she finished her work in South Carolina, and my mother-in-law passed away. I began working as the volunteer director of Good Neighbor Settlement House because we found it needed some administration, and there.
What year was that, Jim?
It was somewhere in around 2006, I guess.
Okay.
And so I served as a volunteer director of that little agency while teaching at the university in the School of Social Work. And it was a learning experience after probably in about the last year, we had the big refugee surge. Good Neighbor began to house refugees because there was no place else to put them. And we served something like 20,000 refugees inside of an 8-month period. So it was
That's
every position I've ever had. It seemed like I was learning the ropes from the very beginning, and that was definitely a learning experience. Finished up at Good Neighbor. They gave me a good going away party. I continued to teach at the university and then work as a case manager for Valley Baptist Hospital. All of that concluded with the COVID experience, and since that time I have taken care of my wife, who now is diagnosed with Alzheimer's. We're both involved in a study at UT RGV Alzheimer's program in Harlingen. I've managed to have a heart attack, and but I continue to volunteer and teach and look for ways in which I can serve the community. One of my big interests at this point is finding ways that we can merge the interests of churches and other civic organizations to deal with major issues. For example, fire. A lot of people have been surprised about the fires in California, but we haven't, I think, asked, could that happen here in the Rio Grande Valley? And the answer I get from people I know that are in the know is yes, it could. So I'm hoping to find ways that we can bring on people from the fire department to advise homeowners and communities about how they can better avoid those catastrophes. The same thing for the police department. There are organizations that I think would want to sponsor community events to raise up the issues of crime and our role in reporting it. So I'm hoping to find ways in which I can have a small role in putting those issues together to find solutions to meet the community needs that are unmet at this time. I've been asked by my wife, is this where you want to really wind up? In Brownsville, Texas? And I said, the longer I've been here, the more I like it. I really feel like people have treated me well. I can't speak a word of Spanish, yet everybody that I have met and worked with have been extremely kind and supportive, and given me the opportunity to lead when I could and follow when I had to. So I'm thrilled to be a part of Brownsville and look forward to continuing to serve this great community. The SpaceX program has been really exciting. I've always had an interest in space shots, moon landings, and so I had no idea that I'd be living in a place that was so close to a launch pad like SpaceX. We continue to be impressed with the people and the business it's bringing to South Texas. I've had friends that I used to go to graduate school with come and visit, and all of them want to go see SpaceX. And I took one of my dearest friends recently to SpaceX, and she said, "Oh, can we go by the gift shop?"
Yeah.
And I had to give her the bad news. There's no gift shop at SpaceX. But it's really exciting to be a part of a community that's so progressive and will take us to Mars, I'm sure. The growth in business opportunity, influx of educated people is going to do a great deal to improve and uplift Cameron County and Brownsville.
And in turn, that might help some of the people that need.
Oh yes, absolutely. We're already seeing people at SpaceX volunteer to do jobs that need to be done, and so they are becoming a real part of the community. As a board member of Nonprofit Media Solutions, I'm excited to see the resources that it provides nonprofits in building out their media presence and their footprint. They have been a major part of addressing problems that I've had with different agencies in the community, and I'm looking forward to finding ways to expand their influence in that area. One of my big interests right now is getting together partnerships of churches and like the fire department to look for solutions for fire awareness. And many of these churches and nonprofits that I would be working with don't have a media presence, and they need the support of Media Solutions to create that and to be a part of this community in that way. Several years ago, I served on the Area Agency on Aging Board and also the Texas Silver-Haired Legislature. And they offer a great service to the aging population, which I continue to be interested in. Because of my health conditions, I had to terminate my membership there in both of those organizations, but they still are a major resource that I'm hoping will expand their services in Brownsville.
What do they do, Jack?
Well, they provide a focal point to look at aging issues. They have contracts that are funded by the state to provide Meals on Wheels and other essential service to the aging, transportation, and information on services that the aging population needs to be aware of. So they're a critical fulcrum point for us to expand awareness of the need for aging services and the resources that are there to deliver them. And my hope is that we can get a presence of that agency here in Brownsville. They have other offices, but no presence in Brownsville at this time. They are fairly constricted by the legislation that created them. But the issues of aging are numerous, and they're subtle. And you can only experience the full impact on them by becoming older and disabled. I think I meet all of those criteria, and I can just assure you that their scope of services needs to be expanded to meet the kinds of challenges that I face as an aging Texan here in Brownsville. As we interfaced United Way with government services and decision making. Government always, their programs have a proscribed delivery system, whereas the voluntary sector is much more capable of looking at issues and changing, much like I shared with you the book on needs assessments that flow from both felt and documented needs into solutions. So government programs are much more substantial in terms of their focus and their impact on a particular issue. But generally they've had years to build that experience and that focus and measuring that impact. Nonprofits are free from the limitations of legislation, so they're able to look at issues and move to solve problems that in many cases government can't. Government and nonprofits complement each other through a dynamic process of engaging each other. I was fortunate to work in government agencies that sought out the United Way agencies and were able to tune them into delivering the ancillary services that we couldn't fulfill. And at the same time, United Way agencies are often more flexible because they are not bound by legislation that requires them to deliver a certain program. Life evolved for me. I didn't have mentors or people that I could look to and see myself as an adult in their roles. It's not that I wasn't raised properly, it's just the opportunity was not there. So I think I stumbled through high school and largely through college, not realizing what I would do ultimately. And it's either a mark of a lack of intelligence or the great opportunities that exist in America for someone to come through this process and be reasonably successful at every point where they change paths, change careers. So no, I didn't have role models. At one point when I worked at the State Department of Welfare, my supervisor became my mentor, and I learned about the values of a master's degree in social work. As soon as I figured that out, I applied for school and was accepted and became a, quote, social worker. When I finished, I had no idea how to find a job. And but at every point, people said, gee, he looks like he has some potential. Let's bet on him. And so I've been very fortunate at every transition stage of my life to have somebody that said, this guy has potential, and take a risk on me. And that I appreciated. Grew up a Methodist and continue to attend the Methodist Church, and it's around the Methodist Church that I think I've learned a great deal about the values that a person needs to serve their fellow man and God. So thank you for that question. Always have struggled to find what's next, and it's always been my good fortune to find something that I can serve the community in a different capacity. So thank you for that question, because I've always been blessed by finding ways in which I can continue to use the limited skills I've got to serve the community. I use the word stumble because that's the only descriptor I can find. I stumbled through high school, only graduated because of the grace of the teachers and the administrators. Got into the Army and served, again, only because people were kind enough to find my value in something. The same thing applies to graduate school and then all my work. People always found something I had of value to them. Good neighbor was probably the quintessential opportunity to give back. And the agency, when I became a member of the board, had problems, and the longer we worked to solve them, the more desperate the solutions appeared. And of course, I had experience in running large agencies in addiction, large agencies for the homeless, and with experience in writing grants really helped. And so I really believe that my volunteer experience at Good Neighbor is the capstone of my career and what I'm most proud of pointing to as something that I benefited from and gave to the community. Time, of course, helps everything improve. But yes, I'm proud to say that I gave them something that gave them the next the next part of their trip to being a really great organization. Good Neighbor Settlement House is and you'd want to look up Settlement House historically, provides services to the community, usually a poor community in an area. They provide referrals, food, in some cases housing, everything that they're capable with their resources to provide that clearly human beings in that environment need. And so the settlement house movement was a very unique one that led ultimately to many members of First Methodist Church founding Good Neighbor Settlement House many years ago, and I've lost the date of when it was formed, but it has a serious history. The desperate circumstances that homeless people find themselves in, without housing, without, in many cases, employment, without clothes, without food. Those issues are hard ones to solve in an economy like ours that depends on the economy offering those resources up. But at the bottom of them, there are none left. So Good Neighbor Settlement House provides a service to a group of people that have essentially fallen out of the social and economic system we have and we enjoy here in America. And keeping those services available is really important for, I think, the success of our democracy. You know, I've never seen myself as a leader, but a collaborator. And so, in every situation in which there are issues, I seek to find opportunities for the staff or people around me to together envision the solution and act on it to deliver it. So I'm not a sophisticated director or manager, but I think I use the resources that are available to solve the problems that are within reach. Services to the addicted population have seen increases in funding and better service delivery. I think the services to the homeless in general have been better understood and better served through policy and through nonprofit serving the communities that they're in. So in both of those areas, I think I've seen incredible progress. Today, my perspective, and as someone who's retired and has no stake in it, it seems to me that the lack of community collaboration and dialogue, bringing in organizations that have contact with citizens that government doesn't have access to, need to be brought in and engaged in issues and especially information dissemination. So my current pet project is fire, and I think that we ought to be all alert to the fact that California could occur in Texas, and that we ought to be working with citizen groups to understand how they need to live, care for their homes and their communities to prevent fire from consuming Texas like it has California. I would go where the needs are and the resources don't exist, and then work to bring the community government together to see that those issues are addressed.
Looking back, would you do anything differently if you could?
I'm not that smart. I think that I have been successful largely because other people felt a need for us to succeed in a certain area. And I've just been fortunate to be able to be paired with those people that had that vision and that interest in making the community or an organization more successful. I think I have been truly blessed by the experiences that I've had, especially in Brownsville, and I'm so happy to be a part of Brownsville as I conclude this trip, wherever it's leading me. I hope that people will find it important to collaborate, to meet, to build coalitions, to solve problems together. And just as I described, the collaboration around fire prevention, I think it applies to so many other issues where we really need to continue to talk about the big issues in the community between the community and government, to be sure that we're all on the same page with the same concerns, avoiding disasters like in California. Brownsville and Cameron County are so well led by our elected officials, our city council, our mayor, the Cameron County judge, that I have great expectations that they will pull the fabric of the community together around these issues. And I'd love to be a part of that in any way I can.